It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry Podcast. On this, the 22nd day of June 2026, brought to you by Will U.S., the owner of Scoot Around, and by Chillie's Cruises. A couple things to go over before we get to the news today. We do have a feature story again on Utopia of the Seas. Then we do have a few news stories. Court dismisses a lawsuit over American Airlines uniforms. A guest jailed for 4 years. A cruise to nowhere for Splendor. A fog halts a tender operation. And two Carnival cruise ship passengers arrested for child sexual abuse. That and lots more here at 11 o'clock this morning. Today is Chocolate Eclair Day. Anytime I can eat a chocolate eclair, I'm happy. So I don't know if they'll have any at lunch today, but if not, they certainly should. This day in history, in 1940, the first Dairy Queen opens at 501 North Chicago Street in Joliet, Illinois. The original Dairy Queen closed in 1950, but has remained a historical site for the city of Joliet ever since. If you're a podcast person, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the fat guy. All right, again, last night, folks, I wasn't at all sure I was going to make it today, but not for any normal reasons. We had storm after storm after storm after storm. Started about 8 o'clock last night. That batch of them stayed just slightly to the north of us. And then about midnight last night, it came right at us. And the last one was about 5 o'clock this morning. And there was lightning and thunder and wind, 50, 60, 70 mile an hour wind, tornado warnings everywhere. Couple touched down just on the other side of the river, probably 5 miles from here. It was now, again, folks, having been through one disaster when I had the fire over at Arcadia, I panicked last night. I got just to cover my butt. I got up and packed a little ditty bag in my bag I carry here. It had my underwear and stuff in it. Anything I'd need for a quick overnight. I had no idea that I would feel that way, because I've never felt that way before. But boy, it sure did last night. And it was enough to be a little dicey. I could see us getting power knocked out for a good bit of time, and then I'd really been screwed. But it didn't happen. So I was a little late getting started on the show because of all that shenanigans. But it got done. I got the main story written, and I got a few news stories in there. Not as much as I'd like, but enough what the Lord delivered, and I'll bring it to you as best I can. All right, so we're off and on our way for another week here in June. I hope everybody had a nice Father's Day. It was I loved everything that happened this weekend, But I'll tell you one thing. Now I realize I'm rebounding from another UTI that has just knocked my socks off again. Where I was up to 5 minutes or so on my car project, I'm down under 3 minutes now. And I got really, really tired by the end of the day. Even yesterday, and all I did yesterday, other than my normal stuff, was, to play bingo. It was one thing Saturday, I called the bingo game. So, I could see being tired at the end of that because, I'm geared up and wanting to perform well and all that business. So that was one thing. But just sitting and playing a bingo game yesterday. But by the time I got back to the room, I had to have the oxygen going, and I was just tired. I didn't feel like working on the show, and then the storms hit, and then I'm thinking, well, I'm going to lose power at any minute. So anyway, I didn't feel pretty good today, except when I got up and got going this morning to go down to breakfast, all of a sudden I had to have oxygen. So I wore the oxygen down to breakfast. And then I had to make announcements down there this morning. Of course, I took the oxygen off for that. But by then I felt pretty good, and I kept it off for a while. And before I finished eating, I had to have it back on again. So it's just goofy. Right now I feel fine, but it is, right next to me down here. I can get at it in a heartbeat if I need to. All right, let's get on with things today. I've got a PT this afternoon, and then later on this afternoon, we're going to have a putt-putt golf championship, a Father's Day putt-putt championship this afternoon that they say is going to be set up so that I can participate as well as anybody. So we'll see. Be the first time I've tried doing something like that. Tomorrow I've got the bocce ball again, which I've done that several times. I enjoy that, and I've gotten a nice little crowd of people that are playing the perverted bocce ball game that we've created and using it as an extra little happy hour in case they want to bring a cocktail and play bocce. That's okay. So, all right. Let's get on with the news after a quick break from one of those fine network sponsors. All right, guys, we're going to start today with Utopia of the Seas.
Experience. When Royal Caribbean introduced the 236,000-ton Utopia of the Seas in 2024, the cruise line did something unexpected. Rather than positioning its newest Oasis-class vessel for week-long Caribbean cruises, it transformed the ship into the ultimate short cruise destination. Sailing primarily 3- and 4-night itineraries from Port Canaveral to Nassau and Perfect Day at Coco Cay, Utopia was specifically designed to deliver the excitement of a mega resort vacation in a long weekend. Despite being one of the largest cruise ships ever built, the vessel feels remarkably easy to navigate thanks to its 8 distinct neighborhoods, wide promenades, and thoughtful layout. The ship accommodates more than 5,600 guests across 18 decks and features 2,834 staterooms. For wheelchair users, particularly those traveling with power wheelchairs or mobility scooters, Utopia of the Seas is among the most accessible large ships currently sailing in North America. Its modern design, spacious public areas, and numerous accessible cabins make it one of the better options for travelers who require mobility accommodations. Arrival and embarkation experience. One of the first things wheelchair users will appreciate is the embarkation process at Port Canaveral. The terminal was built to handle Oasis-class ships efficiently, with accessible check-in lanes, elevators, and boarding procedures. Guests using wheelchairs can request boarding assistance in advance, although many travelers report being able to navigate independently due to the terminal's accessible design. Once on board, the ship's size becomes immediately apparent. Unlike older cruise ships that may have narrow corridors and tight turns, Utopia features wide promenades and spacious elevator lobbies that accommodate power wheelchairs with ease. Exploring the 8 neighborhoods, Central Park remains one of the most impressive spaces at sea. Filled with thousands of live plants, trees, pathways, restaurants, and quiet seating areas, it feels more like an upscale resort than a cruise ship. For wheelchair users, this neighborhood is particularly enjoyable because most pathways are flat and smooth. The area provides a peaceful retreat from the busy pool decks and offers excellent accessibility for independent exploration. Royal Promenade. The Royal Promenade serves as the ship's main street. Cafes, shops, bars, entertainment venues, and gathering spaces line the promenade, creating a lively atmosphere throughout the day and night. Wide walkways make maneuvering a power wheelchair straightforward even during busy periods. Boardwalk. Inspired by classic seaside boardwalks, this neighborhood includes casual dining venues, family attractions, entertainment spaces, and direct access to the Aqua Theater. While busy during peak times, the boardwalk remains relatively easy to navigate due to its open layout. Entertainment. Among the best at sea. One area where Utopia truly shines is entertainment. The Aqua Theater is arguably the ship's signature venue. Located at the stern, it hosts diving performances, acrobatics, synchronized swimming, and aerial acts in a custom-built amphitheater. Accessible seating areas are available throughout the venue, allowing wheelchair users to enjoy unobstructed views of the performances. The Royal Theater offers Broadway-style productions, while Studio B hosts ice skating shows that rival productions found on land. Most major venues feature accessible entrances and designated wheelchair seating locations.
Guys, I'm Spencer of Really Awesome Adventures. I'm your Expedia Cruises travel expert, and today we're going to take a tour of the ultra-spacious wheelchair-accessible balcony room here on the beautiful Utopia of the Seas. Come join me on my Really Awesome room tour. Every day to make sure accessibility is planned before embarkation. So once you're on board, you can focus on enjoying the ship, the views, and the experience. If you're ready to start planning, or even if you just have questions, reach out using the contact information below. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more accessible cruise tours, and I'll see you out on the water.
Thanks to Wheelie for helping us out with that tape. Don't mind giving him a little credit on it. All right, let's continue on with Utopia of the Seas.
Food is one of Utopia's strongest selling points. Guests can choose from dozens of dining venues ranging from casual grab-and-go eateries to premium specialty restaurants. The main dining room, Windjammer Marketplace, Giovanni's Italian Kitchen, Chops Grill, Izumi Sushi, and Hooked Seafood are among the most popular options. For wheelchair users, the newer Oasis-class ships generally perform well. Dining rooms feature accessible routes, and staff routinely assist guests by moving chairs or helping carry buffet selections when needed. Community feedback across Royal Caribbean ships frequently highlights crew willingness to assist guests with mobility challenges in dining venues. Staterooms and accessibility. For travelers using wheelchairs, the accessible cabins are where Utopia truly excels. Royal Caribbean's accessible staterooms feature wider doorways, roll-in showers, grab bars, lowered sinks, lowered closet rods, accessible balconies on select cabins, and approximately 5-foot turning radiuses throughout key areas. Many accessible balcony cabins provide enough room for larger power wheelchairs, something not always found on older ships. Several family-accessible accommodations can sleep up to 6 guests while maintaining maneuvering space for mobility devices. Travelers who have toured these cabins frequently note the generous layouts and practical bathroom designs. For full-time power wheelchair users, accessible balcony cabins are typically the best option because they offer additional turning space and outdoor access without leaving the room. Pools, recreation, and accessibility. The upper pool decks remain one of the busiest areas on board. While some attractions such as water slides, zip lines, and surf simulators may not be accessible to all guests, the decks themselves feature ramps, elevators, and accessible routes throughout much of the recreation area. Royal Caribbean has also installed pool lifts on many ships and has become increasingly proactive about accessibility throughout recreational spaces. Accessible viewing areas near activity zones allow guests using wheelchairs to enjoy the action even if they do not participate directly. Perfect day at Coco Cay for wheelchair users. One major advantage of Utopia's itineraries is frequent visits to Perfect Day at Coco Cay. Royal Caribbean has invested heavily in accessibility at its private island destination. Paved pathways, accessible tram transportation, accessible beach areas, and beach wheelchairs make Coco Cay significantly easier to navigate than many Caribbean ports. For many wheelchair travelers, Coco Cay is actually one of the most accessible destinations in the Caribbean cruise market. Challenges for wheelchair travelers. No cruise ship is perfect. Elevators can become crowded during peak periods, particularly after shows or during embarkation days. Shore excursions remain the weakest part of the accessibility experience. While the ship itself is highly accessible, transportation and infrastructure ashore often vary significantly by destination. Many third-party excursion vehicles still lack wheelchair lifts or adequate storage for mobility devices. Travelers using larger power wheelchairs should carefully review excursion accessibility before booking. Final verdict. For wheelchair users seeking a modern mega ship experience, Utopia of the Seas ranks among the best cruise ships currently sailing from North America. The ship combines enormous public spaces, modern accessibility features, spacious accessible cabins, excellent entertainment, and easy-to-navigate neighborhoods. Royal Caribbean's investment in accessible staterooms, public venues, and private destinations makes Utopia particularly attractive for power wheelchair users who want maximum independence while cruising. The combination of short itineraries, world-class entertainment, and strong accessibility makes Utopia of the Seas one of the top cruise ship choices for wheelchair travelers, families, solo cruisers, and anyone looking for a resort-style vacation at sea. Are you looking for 7 nights of fun, sun and relaxation in the Caribbean? Join us on the MSC World America Group Cruise Sailing May 29, 2027 from Miami. A great vacation, with great people making great memories. Call Chillie today 434-258-9264.
Welcome to paradise at Ocean Cay MSC Marine Reserve, MSC Cruises' private island escape in the Bahamas. Imagine stepping off your ship and onto over 2 miles of white sand beaches, crystal clear turquoise water, and a protected marine reserve designed for pure relaxation and adventure. Spend your day snorkeling colorful coral reefs, kayaking through calm Caribbean waters, paddleboarding, or simply relaxing in a beachfront cabana with ocean views in every direction. Looking for something unforgettable? Climb the iconic lighthouse for panoramic island views, enjoy beachside food and cocktails, or stay late for the island's spectacular nighttime lighthouse show. Unlike many cruise private islands, Ocean Cay is built around sustainability and marine conservation, giving guests a beautiful experience while helping protect the ocean environment. Whether you want adventure, relaxation, or the perfect beach day, Ocean Cay delivers it all. Ready to experience it for yourself? Join us aboard MSC World America and sail to paradise with Chillie's Cruises. Book now and secure your spot. 434-258-9264.
This summer, you can get discounts in some of our most popular rental locations nationwide, including New York City, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and more. Book now to take advantage of this limited time promotion. Use code DELIVERY10 to get 10% off in the following locations: New York City, Chicago, Washington, D.C., Boston, Seattle, Atlanta, New Orleans, San Francisco, Phoenix, and Tampa. Call Scoot Around toll-free at 1-888-441-7575 or reserve online. Use code DELIVERY10 to rent now or call 1-888-441-7575. Use SRN 11137 for the reduced rates. A federal judge sentenced a cruise passenger to more than 4 years in prison for identity theft and falsely claiming to be a U.S. citizen. Investigators found multiple fraudulent documents, including a counterfeit driver's license, birth certificate, and tax form. The man was also ordered to pay more than $25,000 in restitution and faces deportation after serving his sentence.
American Airlines has won a major legal victory in a long-running lawsuit involving employee uniforms that generated thousands of health complaints after their introduction nearly a decade ago. The Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals has affirmed a lower court's decision in favor of American Airlines and uniform manufacturer Twin Hill, dismissing claims brought by dozens of employees who alleged the uniforms caused a wide range of health problems. The controversy began in 2016 when American Airlines rolled out new gray uniforms for approximately 70,000 employees, replacing the carrier's previous blue designs. Twin Hill, a subsidiary of Tailored Brands, was selected to manufacture the new uniforms, but complaints quickly began to surface from flight attendants, pilots, gate agents, and other workers. Carnival Splendor will skip Morton Island on Monday, June 22 because no marine pilot is available. Guests were given $100 odd per stateroom as compensation for missing the only port of call on the 4-night cruise. No alternative ports are available and there are no other changes to the ship's itinerary.
Thick fog halted NORDAM's tender operations in Nome, Alaska on Thursday, June 18 before the visit was effectively canceled. The ship is currently sailing a 28-day itinerary from Seattle, visiting a number of ports and crossing the Arctic Circle. While in Nome, one tender boat struck an underwater object and was pulled from service and assessed for damage.
Federal grand juries have indicted Christopher Michael Lawhan, 36, and Tajaraya Lawanike Blackwell, 25, on separate child sexual exploitation charges after federal agents discovered child sexual abuse material on their cell phones. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Middle District of Florida announced the separate indictments after both men returned from cruises that departed from the Jacksonville cruise port. The investigation was carried out jointly by HSI, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and the Statesville, North Carolina Police Department. The charges were brought forward under Project Safe Childhood, a nationwide Department of Justice initiative launched to combat child sexual exploitation. Blackwell was previously arrested in late February of this year and charged with felony statutory rape of a child 15 years of age or younger, felony statutory sex offense with a child 15 years of age or younger and felony indecent liberties with a child. A bond was set at $750,000. He was released from the Iredell County Detention Center after somehow satisfying the bond. The conditions of release state, defendant is a danger to the community based on the seriousness of the charges against him. Defendant is to have no contact with the victim and no unsupervised contact any minor under age 18. Notwithstanding the terms of his release, Blackwell took the very same 14-year-old child he raped in February with him on the cruise in June together with the abuse materials. The criminal charges in state court remain pending. Blackwell remains in federal custody in Florida. Carnival Cruise Line refused to state whether Blackwell or Lawhan were passengers on the Carnival Elation or if Carnival performs background checks on passengers. It also refused to address why Carnival permitted Blackwell to cruise on the Carnival Elation and take the child victim with him. Join us on Chillie's Cruises Group cruise sailing on MSC World America May 29, 2027 to the Eastern Caribbean. 7 nights of sun, fun and relaxation starting at $999 per person. For more information, call Chillie at 434-258-9264. Here are 5 of the best things to do when visiting Puerto Plata. One of the top attractions is riding the cable car up Mount Isabel de Torres, the only cable car in the Caribbean. At the top, visitors are rewarded with panoramic views of the city, coastline, and surrounding mountains, along with botanical gardens and the famous Christ the Redeemer statue. For beach lovers, a visit to Playa Dorada is a must. This beautiful stretch of golden sand offers calm waters, beachfront restaurants, and plenty of water activities like snorkeling, paddleboarding, and jet skiing. History lovers should explore Fortaleza San Felipe, one of the oldest colonial forts in the Americas. Built in the 16th century, the fort provides a glimpse into the Dominican Republic's colonial past and offers stunning ocean views. Adventure seekers often head to the 27 waterfalls of Demajagua, where visitors can hike, slide, and jump through a series of natural waterfalls and pools. It's one of the most popular excursions in the region and a favorite for active travelers. For information on Chillie's Cruises Group cruise, call Chillie at 434-258-9264.
And that puts an end to the news portion of today's show. You can probably hear the vacuum cleaner in the background out in the hall. Sorry about that. You guys all know where I am. While that last commercial was playing, the sales director stuck her head in the door and said, "Tell them Story Point East, come see her if anybody's interested in an independent living facility." But yeah, if anybody's interested out there, contact me and I'll set you up an appointment. You come in and talk to these folks. Great people, good place, and really good food. So, all right, let's go over in the chat room and see who's fussing at me today. All right, Hot Air Tom is with us. Good morning, Tom. There's amigo John up in Crookston, Minnesota. Steve is here, says good morning, Chillie and everybody. There's Mike from the other side of the pond. Chocolate Eclair Day. Yes, that's what it is. We will even happen to have some in the fridge. Oh, you've got some in the fridge ready for the day. Very good, Hot Air Tom. Enjoy them. Mike says good morning to all you guys. Joanne's with us. Good morning, Joanne. Storms heading here today. I'll tell you what, there were some brutal storms last night, especially the ones early this morning. The one at like 5:30, that was the one that really, I can't say scared me the most, but that I was worried about the most. The maps looked bad there for a bit, and then it seemed to kind of veer to the south of us, which thankfully it did. Tom says, I did see a report from someone that Royal Caribbean does not have near as many accessible restroom in the public areas as Norwegian. Can you confirm that is true? I never noticed it as a problem before. I don't have with the fire and everything. Some of my notes never got back to me. I don't recall that there was any lack of them, but then Norwegian, they do as good a job as anybody. So I wouldn't be surprised if there are less. However, keep in mind that the special needs coordinator for Royal Caribbean, I serve on a study group with him and have his phone number on speed dial. So if there are any issues, I've been instructed to call him directly, which I've done a couple times in the past. But I don't recall that as being a problem, Tom. I guess the next time I go on a Royal Caribbean ship, I'll look and see. But I would say if if there's any way, he's already done that, but it's always good to take a look. There's Todd. Hi, good morning, Todd. Good to see you again, my friend. There's Sunny down in Mississippi. There's Katie out on Martha's Vineyard. Good morning, Katie. She loves Utopia. I'm looking forward to sailing on Utopia one of these days. I have requested a person that is very successful in sailing for free because of the casino program, and she prefers Royal Caribbean over any of them. And when I say free, you don't get free cruises. You still have to pay taxes and port charges no matter what. But like when I was on Symphony of the Seas, that's all I had to pay was taxes and port charges, which, obviously that's terrific. Now, I've not worked the system like some of them, like my friend that I show her stuff as she travels the world. She works it as good as, or not better than anybody I know. My two friends from Buffalo, they're the ones that took me on Symphony because they each had a free cruise on the same ship. They took one cruise and gave me one. But yeah, I mean, and I know all the reasons against it, and that's why I haven't taken it seriously, because I just felt that I couldn't afford gambling with that much money to get enough points to do it. I have gambled enough to pick up like a couple $100 several times. Not all the time, but several times. And still, take a $200 chunk off of a cruise. That's nice. But I mean, some of these guys are literally cruising anywhere in the world and paying taxes and port charges. Gretchen says, hi, guys. Katie says, hi, back. Sonny says, please hit the thumbs up button. Thank you, Sonny. Always appreciate that. There's Roger, says, hi from Jacksonville. I was talking about Roger this weekend, talking to somebody that just went through Jacksonville. And I got to talking about the next cruise he's going on. And why I'd love to be able to do one of those, but a wheelchair and European cruises just doesn't mix, but it does in America. So even though they're expensive, I still hope one of these days to get a deal with American to get on and show what a accessible cabin is like on American Cruise Line River Cruise. Todd says, what was the complaint of the pilots and the airlines about the uniforms? I missed that part of the story. Apparently the ladies were getting all sorts of rashes and dermatological, is that a good word? To the materials. It just caused problems. They weren't comfortable, and they had, after effects from wearing the uniforms. And it wasn't like these people were just complainers, because they never had any problems with the blue uniforms they'd used before. but it was from a different manufacturer. It was a different type of material, and it was apparently just something that caused problems. So Sonny says, I was wondering the same thing. Complaints on AA gray uniforms, severe adverse reactions, including skin rashes, headaches, and breathing problems. Yep. Yikes on the uniforms. Yeah, I agree. I'm not, I didn't by any way go say anything against the complainants. Clearly that's awful. And clearly it was, caused by the manufacturer of the material, or the manufacturer, not the manufacturer of the uniforms didn't make the cloth. I mean, that came from a mill. It was something had to be wrong in the milling process, I would think. Anyway, all right, that's going to wrap me up for today. Again, I've got a PT session. I've got lunch and then a PT session. And because they've been a little bit slow with lunch lately, I'll probably just grab soup and a Jello or something and get on to my PT session. So, but that's going to wrap it up for today, guys. As always, thanks for being here. As Sonny asked, hit that thumbs up button. That'll help me out a bunch. Take this as my invitation. If you have not subscribed to this channel yet, please do so. Hit that subscribe button and you'll be notified when I go live or when I post a new video. As far as you guys go, have a terrific Monday and Tuesday. I'll see everybody back here on Wednesday. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for being here. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising. And hopefully one day soon, we'll all get together on a ship somewhere. All right, guys. I'll see everybody Wednesday. Bye.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.